It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce, Michael, and Riley. I know a story of high strangeness or two. Let's do this.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, the podcast where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And our ultra-terrestrial producer,
Riley Bray.
Hi.
Hi.
We're back in the nanosphere now.
Yes, a return to the virtual zone.
We're virtual because we're speaking to, we have an expert guest this week who is coming in from the East Coast, I believe. Their home state of Maine. Yes.
Oh,
okay,
yes,
great.
Nailed it.
Who we'll get to toot sweet. But before we do that, hi boys.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. The real question, Michael, is how are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. This was a
Yeah?
rough Mercury in retrograde. We should talk to our guest about this.
I know.
A lot of sick pets in my house. Everyone's
Yeah,
doing
me too.
okay. Pulling through. Yeah. Bryce's dog Baby's had an ear infection?
Ear infection. I think she might have sprained her neck, so she's she can't relax. Oy vey.
Guys.
Zosie had 5 teeth pulled. Then
my
a week later, she got a rabies shot that gave her a terrible reaction. She's got pain in her leg. She had to be hospitalized for diarrhea and vomiting on Sunday.
Oh my god.
Right after we watched all those Sasquatch and their bodily functions since Sasquatch Sunset.
that
no.
was right after that.
I had a mini version of that happening in my house.
After our very fun day.
Yes.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
and then we're coming out of the clearing of that. I had to take her back yesterday for some pain medication because she's limping on this leg. It hurts.
Man.
And then Violet
Little
started throwing
buddy.
up today. So it's just been
She was like,
while.
I'm not getting any attention. What do I need to do here?
yeah. Oh, believe me, she was probably eating stuff out of the trash just so I would look at her. She for sure is jealous. How's Baby doing, Bryce?
She's good. She's in a lot of pain, I think. So I've been just loving on her. Yeah, I know, man. What does Mercury in retrograde have to do with pets? What's going on there? I thought it was a technology thing.
Well, Mercury, the god, is he oversees health and wellness too.
Oh, okay, right.
You know,
that.
the system of the body, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, we gotta
Dang.
get to our guests.
Let's get to our guests. Maybe they can help us here.
Riley,
Yeah.
before we do, we got to nominate a 5-star Club Scout of the Week. This is a friend who listens to the show, has given us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We assume that's still a thing that helps get the show out to more people. If
Couldn't
you do
hurt.
it, we might. Yeah, it can't hurt. We'll read it on the air, like this one.
Well, this is from Metal Boy Face 16. Cool. That's a sick name.
A metal boy face 16, man.
That's a cool name. It says, Collectors of Podcast. I have found it. The most fun, silly, epic, scary podcast. Keeps you on the edge in the middle of the night, wanting to listen to it more. Thank you for your amazing work. I'm a new listener. Can't wait to see you in the stars in a UFO clamshell. 5 stars. Thanks, Metal Boy.
Oddly enough, Metal Boy Face 16, Riley is in
Literally,
a clamshell.
we were talking about that just moments
clamshell
before.
right now.
That is a very bizarre
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Well,
got a
I guess
fancy headboard.
you created that, Metal Boy Face 16. You summoned that into reality. Good job.
And he's a metallurgist. He's Metal Boy.
Whoa, man.
There you go, bro. All right. Our guest
enough.
this week is an occultist and paranormal investigator who knows her way around an astrology chart. We're gonna talk. We'll kick off with some Mercury in retrograde talk, just to get warmed up. You may know them from the series Haunt Me for Maine, or her many public convention appearances and readings all throughout the paranormal nation. Club Scouts of all timelines, please welcome to the show, Katie Webb.
Oh, hi.
And Katie's cat.
One of
Wait,
three.
where are we seeing?
I just
I'm
saw
in
there.
I thought I saw a tail in there. Yeah. How
Yeah.
are your pets, Katie?
Mine have also been throwing up.
Oh my God. Oh, what is going on?
Yeah, might have been right with you. I actually introduced a new food though, so I was the culprit. So it wasn't like spontaneous, but I have also been dealing with health issues with my cats.
Well, my fiance, her cat, has just had another surgery done this week as well. So when I say it's been a wild time, it's been a wild time.
It has been a
These
wild
animals.
time. Puke
What
is,
does Mercury in
exhausting.
retrograde have? Anything? Can we blame? I mean, not to date this
Sure.
episode, and it's going to be out. You know, it's well done by the time. Well, since past, I should say, by the time this drops. But like, to Bryce's question, what does Mercury in retrograde have to do with any of this?
Usually Mercury, so it's Mercury retrograde, no in.
Sorry, I've been told this before.
Okay.
I do it every time.
It's okay. You know, you'll get it the more people tell you. But it usually is mostly technological. Like you'll see a lot of like car problems most of the time because cars are so computery these days. And you'll see lots of obviously like, you know, people like having a hard time communicating with each other. But you were right. It does govern over like health and wellness. And so it's not a surprise to have, you know, health concerns, but usually it's like one or the other. Like you'll usually experience like, I don't know if you've noticed this probably, but like you don't have a bad Mercury retrograde every time. Like, you know, like right? Like it will hit you in different places depending on like where it is in your chart and what the other planets are doing at that time. So it's kind of wild.
How many of these Mercury in how many of these retrogrades do we get? I feel like we just had one. Are there like 2 or 3 a year here? I mean,
yeah, Mercury has a really short cycle, and so we see a retrograde pretty often.
It's 3 to 4 times a year, about 18% of the year. Mercury
That's
is
too
retrograde.
much.
Next
man.
one's-
What the fuck?
I think the next one's coming up in August.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
one over the holidays that ended like at the very beginning of January. So you could kind of count that as the first of 2024. And then we get
Yeah, we
another
came
one like
in.
in August. Yeah, hot.
Came in hot. Yeah.
Coming in
Big
hot.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. I need things to start to level out in my 2024. And I know
Yeah.
that's a tall order for what's coming down the pipeline, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
in my little bubble, I need things to chill out a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Can
Less
you
puke.
talk to Can you
Can
talk
you
to
make
someone?
the planets
Yeah.
do that for him, please?
Sure. Yeah. I'll talk to Mercury.
Thanks.
Katie, I feel like we didn't do enough to introduce you.
Oh.
Occultist, paranormal investigator. You were also a medium, I would say.
Yeah. I'm
Correct?
definitely like
or intuitive. What would you?
It's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it. I'm definitely like clairvoyant and clairaudient. But like I have investigated with other mediums and they'll experience beings that I am not. So like, I'm sure you've heard this a million times because I feel like anybody that investigates over a period of time comes to this conclusion, but we're all kind of like tuned differently. And so we can pick up on like different things. And so yeah, I'm kind of a medium. I'm like a medium sometimes. I'm a medium.
I'm like a chill medium, like a
Yeah.
small, like a
Medium
like.
in
No, there's like
moderation.
like there's medium,
Light.
large, there's medium. Yeah, I'm like a small medium.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
You know
I've
what I
never
mean?
heard that term clairaudient before. Can you explain that some more?
Yeah, I like that.
I can hear them. I can hear the ghosts.
That's what I
Yeah.
was
So then
thinking.
clairvoyant is visual, and then clairaudient
Yeah.
is oh man,
Yeah.
okay, that's wild.
In
Yeah,
what
I'm-
way does that like present? How do you experience that? What is that?
It's weird. It's like an inner voice. So it's hard. It's sometimes like you have to like really, for me, I have to like really like double check myself sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
did I just say that? Or did you just say that? Like, you know, especially like when I'm like meditating, because I try to like do like channeling with, you know, whatever. And sometimes I'm like, am I talking to myself or am I talking to a thing?
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you
Yeah.
have any sort of checks, or how do you test that, or how do you verify that when it's in the moment?
I just trust it now. Way back when I started, I had a lot of doubts, but I was on Hot Me. And so I used these skills. There's a couple episodes where I do like some channeling with this guide that I encountered. And like, I was able to be like on the top floor of a mansion where my, you know, other investigators on the first floor, and who I was channeling with was like saying like where the ghost was with Carol on the first floor. And I was able to kind of say that. So I got validated. Wow. And so it was kind of like easier to trust myself. Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah. You've been investigating. I raised my hand.
Yeah. I like
He's gotten in that habit lately. I like it.
I'm just, I like it too. This is a new trend for me. Yes, it's left over from Michael's classroom.
Your turn.
You've been investigating for so long. How did you get into this, and how does one sustain sort of a career as an investigator as long as you have?
Well, to bring it all back to astrology, I happen to have 5 planets in the 8th house in my chart. And the 8th house is the house of death, transformation, like,
cool.
Kind of like the unsolved mysteries of life. So I'm just like really naturally drawn to all these things.
Is it weird that I got jealous all of a sudden?
I know.
Got a house full of planets.
Her houses are in order, dude.
I want to have the Doctor Strange chart.
I do. That is what people have called me in the past.
I've got the like occasionally employed actor chart.
Yeah, but you have the true blood chart, and so that's really fucking dope.
Yes, I have a vampiric chart. That's right. Yeah. Fair
Which
enough.
Is
okay,
great.
fair enough. I can't complain. You're
no,
right.
You shouldn't.
Right.
No, you were fantastic. I can't believe you have not been cast as another evangelical person also. But anyway, let's move on.
Casting director.
You were great. You were amazing.
What you don't know is that I actually have my own megachurch that I run every Sunday.
Perfect. That makes a lot of sense. That's
how we fund the show.
Yeah, I try not to let that world and this world cross over too much. You know what I mean? Different audiences. But yeah, so to Bryce's question in this chart, did this funnel into your personal paranormal history? How did this all come together for you?
Well, I've always had like an affinity for movies. So Hocus Pocus came out when I was 7, and it really kicked off like something within me. I like really needed to be Winifred Sanderson. But like, and I live in Maine, and so I'm near Salem, Massachusetts. So I like went to witch stores and got really into like the witch aspect of everything. And then I went to college in Farmington, Maine, and there happened to be a couple of abandoned buildings up there. And I had a group of friends that wanted to investigate. And that was the first time I like saw a ghost. I saw a ghost in the window. Yeah, we didn't go inside, but I saw a ghost like through the window. And then this is back in 2001. I'm older.
Katie, you got to take the scenic route here. You got to describe what this ghost looked like.
Yeah. I need more on the ghost.
Okay.
Gender, if applicable, clothing, attire, time period. Like, don't breeze by this ghost in the window.
Ghost hats.
Fair.
We're interested in ghost hats.
Okay, fair. I can give you a lot of details. It was a younger girl, I want to say like under the age of 8. She was blonde. Her hair was scraggly. She was in a blue dress it was like a blue like apron dress. So like very like 70s, early 80s kind of a vibe.
Or pioneer, because there was a big pioneer revival in the 70s in terms of like modern fashion. So
this had like it was like, it looked like a dress that I kind of owned when I was like really young, like a school picture I was taken in, in a type of dress. So that's what gave me 80s vibes, but it totally could have been like prairie. But then again, nobody had cell phones. This is 2001. So we're like taking pictures with film. And I can't help but feel like you get better ghost pictures with film.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I just feel like you do. So we're snapping pictures, and I never got that ghost in a picture. But then there was this like brambly bush out front, and there was like a wagon in it, like an old like wagon just like inside this bush.
Whoa.
And so my friend
like a wheelbarrow or like a radio flyer?
No, it was like pulled by a horse. Yeah, like it was flat.
Hey,
big
prairie. All right, I'm getting prairie
you're right,
hits
actually,
here.
Yes, prairie hits all the way. So then I take a picture of her in front of the bramble bush, and when we got it developed, there was a ghost in the bush.
Whoa.
No, that's crazy.
It was very cool. It was a very similar, so like the picture of the ghost, you couldn't see a lot of details, but it was very much like an outline of a person like in the bush. It was like the bush didn't exist, they're like with their wagon, I guess.
Oh, huh.
So you gotta hit on your first invest. That's like one of those actors, Michael, that book on their first time out. You know, so they're like, of course they're gonna be hooked. You know?
I'm just trying to think. Is this like? Is there an adage that we can come up with here with like one ghost in the window is better than two in the bush? You know what I mean? Riley, come on.
That was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Give it teacher humor.
Sure.
Come on.
Good. It was good. I liked it.
I'm in my professor mode, you know.
I approve.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have so much more to talk about with Katie. We're just getting started. So, Katie, you get these ghost pictures developed, and you're like, bing, bang, boom, I'm a paranormal investigator now.
No. I was like way more into smoking weed at that time, so I like didn't take that any further.
Had to investigate the bong a little longer.
I had just come out of high school.
I think there's a ghost coming out of this bong, y'all. Look, now it's in my mouth. I'm gonna let it out.
But I
check out this green mist. Sorry,
I think it's the Green Man. So I was like going there to like become a teacher, but there I like realized I like really didn't like children. So I went.
It's good you figured that out. Yeah.
Nice and early, yeah. Went an entirely different direction, and I moved to Boston, and I started going to school down there, and I ended up befriending some like punk rock kids in Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Oh, hell yeah. We just talked about the Gloucester Sea
Yeah, we
Serpent
did.
over on the
Yeah.
other side.
That's another
Hell yeah.
one, man.
Nice.
Gloucester, hell yeah, shout out.
Hell yeah.
Gloucester punks.
So I'd go back and forth between Boston and Gloucester. And on my trip, one of my trips back from Gloucester, it was summertime. I was driving in my car. I had all my windows down. I was blasting the Cure album, Wild Mood Swings. And I'm coming around a corner on the interstate. I'm in like Beverly at this point. And there are two UFOs sitting, boom, right in front of my face. Really big.
No.
Really big.
What?
Right
What?
next to each other. Boom. Like
Where?
I can't,
How high up?
In the sky?
like
how big?
barely in
how
the sky.
far off the road?
Oh my god.
So they were hovering above
over
a
the
parking
treetop?
lot.
Okay. Whoa.
They were almost like they were just above like the Irving sign. Like they were like not high up.
That's
They were
crazy.
really low. But what's
50
really
feet.
wild about it is like we'll think back on this memory, and I wasn't alone on the highway. There were all kinds of people on the highway, and like nobody was pulled over and looking. And so it's one of those memories that it's so funny because the memory is so clear. And I even remember like going by them and like staring at them and staring at them and staring at them. And even as I drove away, I kept looking at them in my rearview mirror. And so I like can't explain it. I've even Googled it to see if there were any like accounts of it happening at that time. And so I don't know, it feels like this moment that was like just for me, but for the longest time, I didn't doubt it whatsoever. I actually didn't doubt it whatsoever until I told it to Jim Perry for the Euphomet podcast.
Yeah.
And I was
Really?
like-
Oh my
and he
God.
started asking me questions, and I was like, oh, I didn't really think of that. Nobody
Well-
like noticed it but me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's weird or not. What did they look
Exactly.
like? We need give us your best dimension, shape, color, lights, no lights. What are we talking about here?
Huge. Like, I would say like 3 Honda Accords wide.
Okay.
Wow.
Big.
And huge and round. And they were next to each other, but kind of like this.
So staggered.
Staggered, yeah. And they were silver. Very like Roger Corman
Flying saucer.
Flying saucer. Like
That's
lights around
crazy.
it.
You got a
Classic.
couple of CSs happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
rare that that
Yes.
2 of them. I mean, I
Discs.
don't.
Just
That's
sitting
rare.
there. Not moving, just sitting there.
No sound. No movement.
No
just-
sound. Well, again, I was listening to The Cure pretty loudly, so I'm not sure about the sound.
Good
but
soundtrack for this, though. I like that. That's cool.
Truly. And I was singing that was like one of my favorite albums by them. And I know it's not a popular one, but I was singing at the top of my lungs also. So
Have you tried recreating using that song as a way to help manifest something before? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or moving in the car and singing that song. You know what? Like,
Yeah.
the first thing I would do would be like, all right, I'm going to retrace my steps. I'm going to play that song again. I'm going to drive the same speed I was, and I'm going to see if I can like get results again. You know what I mean?
I should.
This is so strange. What time of day was it?
It was nighttime.
So were they lit up?
So it didn't look like they were lit up. Like I could see that they had lights, but they were right near like orange street lights. And so the street lights were like shining on them. And so they didn't look like, they looked like they were like parked, but floating. They didn't look like they were moving at all. Yeah.
Did anything, so what do you,
Sitting
I
there.
mean, do you, what was your significance that you took away of that event? Did anything sort of happen in the aftermath of it, or did it leave like an impact or anything, or?
Not really. I literally didn't even tell anybody about it.
Wow.
For the longest time. I know. I like a lot of my introduction to the paranormal was very like, it felt very like faded for me. And at this point, I'm like really in it, obviously. So I'm like pursuing and creating that like energy and pushing. But like I was working at a record store with Ashley Brooks when the main ghost hunters came in, and they asked her to do like a side ghost hunting show like on the internet that would like parallel their show. And then that didn't really work out, but that moment gave her the idea to do Haunt Me, and I happened to be there, and she just happened to ask me. And like they taught me how to ghost hunt. Like I had only had interactions like I never used a K2. I didn't really like watch ghost hunters. Like I watched MTV's Fear and stuff like that, but not really like using that like certain line of questioning and using the K2s and different things like that. Like
our listeners
I was
may
going to
not
say, what is a K2?
Oh, it's like,
and me too, yeah.
yeah.
It's for the listeners. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I wish I had one right here. It's like what electricians use to kind of find the hot spots in the house.
We used them at the Kellogg house, the little thing that has like that lit up from like red to green.
Yeah,
green to
okay,
red.
right.
Yeah.
Detects energy in electromagnetic fields, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Got
it's
it.
good for debunking because like one time I had a client case where they were like having a lot of nightmares and they were feeling like they were being watched in their bedroom. And then it turns out that the two lamps on the side of their bed were like giving off like massive radiation.
Oh my God.
And obviously that will make you feel that way. So it's good for like debunking things, but it's also
Everybody
good for like
check your lamps, I guess.
Yeah. Fridges. Like if you feel like you're being watched near your fridge, it's your fridge. Like,
Oh no.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Radiation like makes you paranoid?
It makes you can feel it, and so you'll like, well, look, you know,
Oh,
like you
okay.
feel like something's there because you can like feel it.
Whoa.
I know.
How much of this ghost stuff now is just weird radioactive elements of people's houses?
Some of it is.
I think we're
Yeah.
interchanging radiation with like radio frequency right now a little bit.
Are we?
It feels like it. Because we're not talking about radioactive isotopes, right? We're talking about
Well, but I mean, your phones are radioactive, aren't they?
Yeah, they light up a K2.
yeah, but that's what
Let's
I'm saying.
look this up.
Look it
you know
up.
what? This isn't a science podcast. Who cares? I
I
want to
mean,
hear
I
about
don't-
those ghosts.
I think it's more like older electronics. Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yes, lamps emit radiation, including ultraviolet, infrared, visible light, and other types of electromagnetic radiation. So it's electromagnetic radiation. Okay.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
I guess what I meant is that there's like a lot of types of radiation.
Yeah, it's not fallout. It's not. It's
Right.
not a
Yes.
Yeah, like
nuclear
clar-
radiation.
Yeah.
visible light is
Good
a type of
clarification.
radiation.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
it's like,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
what
gonna wake up as a Ninja Turtle
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
sleep next to your lamp.
That's yes. That's what I'm getting at.
Fair enough. All right.
Most of the
Moving
time.
on. Moving on.
So, Katie, even with this, Doctor Strange chart and all these things happening to you, you never had stuff happening when you were a little kid that you knew of? Like, was there?
I don't have a lot of memories of my childhood.
Okay.
Like my brain doesn't work very good.
Sounds like they might have been mind
Or
wiped
too good. I don't
from Alien. Great.
Maybe. I have since, tried to summon aliens on many occasions and been seemingly successful one time, but you never know, You never know.
What? How were you successful summoning an alien?
Ooh, so There is, okay. It was a Haunt Me episode. And in this particular season, each one of us was getting our own episode. It was going to be about us. And so I really wanted mine was at Fort Knox. And that fort is made of granite. And I have this like theory that like minerals create activity and like can boost, energy and paranormal events and things like that. And so I really wanted to do a giant ritual on top of this gigantic granite fort. It's flat on top. Yep. So I made 5 different altars, 1 to each element. So I did spirit, air, earth, fire, and water. And I was thinking at the time I was making 5 different altars, but what ended up happening was I made one gigantic thing that got the attention of something really high up in the sky. Yeah. And we were using a DR60. So we were like chatting back and forth and doing like Estes method sessions and stuff like that.
That's the tape recorder thing that you guys use?
Yes. Yeah. That's the Panasonic DR60. I think it's old school. They don't make those anymore. Like those are very special. And I think they go for like $5,000 on eBay if you can find one. But they're every ghost hunter's dream.
Oh, wow. They are really expensive.
When you're talking about Fort Knox, you're talking about where we keep America's gold, right? Like, how do you do...
Maine's Fort Knox. It's a different one.
Maine's Fort Knox. Different. Okay, got it.
Few Knoxes, few forts in our history.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know
Just
that.
like
Okay,
there's
gotcha.
a few types of radiation, Bryce.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Follow. So now you've created this sort of super altar.
Super altar. Yeah. And we ended up, like, in our Estes method sessions, we ended up chatting with a few different things. Unfortunately, at that time, somebody had recently ended their life by jumping off of a bridge right next to it. And so we ended up catching some of that person's like voice on the EVPs. But we also ended up talking to something else that was like asking us to combine the altars and asking us to put our hair on them, which we did not do.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Yeah, there was
like,
a lot of...
we want to make a tulpa out of you guys.
Yeah.
And a couple doppelgangers, please.
Yeah, that was weird. And then when we were up on the top, for real, it was feeling really creepy at first. And then we were like, doing Estes up on top of, I was under and my teammates were around me and they saw a light thing shoot across the sky while we were like talking with something that was calling itself the Up.
What a name.
That's
the Up.
good.
That's what they kept saying. Yeah. And funny enough, like I have been using my Thoth tarot deck to communicate with ghosts in all of my investigations. And that night when I was putting all my stuff away, I had it in a pouch and it was like dangling around my arm and it was like driving me crazy as I was like trying to put stuff away. So I packed it really early on and I put a bunch of stuff on top of it and I locked it in this like medicine case I carry. And I got home and the crystal that was inside, I always keep this like amethyst. Actually, I thought it was right there, but it's not. I always keep this amethyst in my bag with the tarot cards. And when I got home, the amethyst was there, but my tarot cards have never been found. There with the Up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That UFO took your tarot deck.
Tarot. Not cool.
Rude.
Wow.
They didn't even ask.
Jumping back to your origin story, because I think we got distracted with the lamps.
Yeah.
You got invited to come do Haunt Me.
Yes.
And then you were hooked.
I was hooked, yeah. I kind of felt like it was something I was just really good at. Like at the time, I didn't realize I could like see and hear ghosts. Like I didn't know that like seeing that ghost back in college was weird. I thought, she's an apparition. Like we all could see this, just nobody happened to be here. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was special to me. And so doing all these investigations with Haunt Me really like gave me all this like confidence and really felt like, wow, I'm like, this is something I'm like really good at. And so I loved it. Yeah. And so then it was just like, whatever, jumped on the crazy train.
I love it.
I love it. With the clairaudience and the clairvoyance, like, is that something that you have to manage, like turn it off, or is it an all the time thing? Like, how do you experience that? How does that work?
It's interesting because my brain is pretty like very neurodivergent, very ADHD, like things going all the time. Often like 2 songs will be looping themselves within my head and stuff. So it's usually like just doing its own thing. It's like going. And so I have to like concentrate to like hear. But sometimes just like if I'm hanging out and I'm in silence, like, well, I don't know, whatever, getting ready for work or something, I will totally like pick up stuff without trying. Yeah.
What kind of stuff for you? Is it people trying to reach out, spirits trying to reach out to you, or is it just like you are overhearing conversations on another plane of existence?
It's usually like I'm overhearing conversations. Yeah. It doesn't usually seem like they're talking to me.
Oh, interesting. It's just sort of like you're like walking through a city kind of thing, like the people around you.
Yep.
What's the weirdest thing you ever eavesdropped a ghost talking about?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so hard to think about. There's so many actual weird things that ghosts have talked to me about.
What a sentence.
Yeah, pick one.
Yeah. Like there was one that was just talking about buttering toast. There's, you know, like
Oh my God.
it's kind of mundane. Like, and there was this
Yeah.
other guy that was really creepy talking about boobs one time. And
Yep.
like,
That'll
yeah,
happen.
All right,
yeah,
Both
just
there
classic,
and here. Yeah.
you know, yeah, classic stuff.
Well, it's,
Food,
I mean,
boobs.
that it's the thing where like if these are spirits of people who've passed, they're people, so they're gonna probably
Yeah.
talk. And if they're hanging around, you know, I know there's different theories on how all this stuff works, but if they're hanging around, they're hanging around in the earthly plane. They're probably just like regular old people
Just
talking
shooting
about
the shit.
just shooting the shit. Here's how I like my toast butter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, I miss buttered toast.
That's what I
could
was
have.
thinking. Yeah, picturing that like, oh, I just missed just the butter.
It's nice.
That's most of our conversations, I feel like. You know, it's like this is a fun one, but most of our conversations are mundane shit throughout the day. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you're lucky to have a conversation at all.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the time that you contacted Bigfoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we are back with Katie Webb. And Katie, you sent us a link that I'm going to include in the show notes of this episode of Haunt Me episode where you went to Barclay Cemetery in Pennsylvania, I believe, with your pals from Haunt Me and the Newkirks, Greg and Dana, which was very fun to see them.
Yep. Surprise.
And you went to a haunted or hotspot cemetery, thought maybe you'd meet some ghosts, and instead got in touch with something else. You were a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Friend
one
of
of
the show.
one of your BFFs. Yeah, well, Greg took us there because he considered that space a window area. So, and I don't know, for people who are not familiar with John Keel's idea of a window area, it's like geographic location that experiences ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids of all kind. All things go there. So we did have intentions of doing a few different things. But when we got there, we didn't really anticipate Carol getting a connection with one of the ghosts. She was like taking on its emotions and getting really serious. And apparently there was actually like a murder that took place there. And she was like really connected to it. And so
this is the spirit Timothy that you guys got in touch with.
Yeah.
Right.
So a couple of the team members were off kind of like doing that thing. And then we kind of went over and made an altar to Bigfoot. So we gave Bigfoot something sweet to eat. I think we had Swedish fish that night. We added something like silver and shiny. And we like lit a candle and put a couple crystals around it. And then did some like traditional Bigfoot like calls. So like we did some tree knocking. I'm sure Dana has talked about that call.
You know what? I watched that, and
Yeah.
Dana has not talked to us about the
I know.
the Bigfoot greeting of "We come in peace."
Tia, okay. Well, so
Yeah,
she,
Bryce, is this?
I
have
did
you
try
heard
to
this
memorize
before?
it.
No,
At the
no,
watching
totally
it.
crazy. I cannot believe we have not heard this story from
And
the
you
news.
I'm
are
surprised.
absolutely trying this next time you're on the hunt for Expedition Bigfoot.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And you know what I've learned in a different Bigfoot story is that you don't have to get it right. You
It's the
can get it
intention.
close. Yeah, you can get it close.
Good.
Right. It's just the intent. Yeah. That's
Because I didn't
wild.
get it right when I did it that time, but I was close.
Great.
But so she did that. So we did those like very specific like Bigfoot things. And so I was very much in like Bigfoot mode, and there were some interesting things that happened. So we started hearing these like coyote sounds, but the end of the like coyote whatever call, the yelp they do, it was like warbly. And so we started being like, that doesn't quite sound like a coyote. And, you know, Bigfoot is known to mimic the sounds of other animals. So we were, you know, kind of keeping our eye on it. So it made us do some like more tree knocking. And then we got clacks back. So we started like, I think I was doing rock clacking and somebody else was hitting a tree, but whatever, we got knocks back. And so we were like, oh shit. And so we kept like, you know, doing that back and forth for a little while. And then we kind of like noticed something in a different area. And so this is at the point where my memory of what happened and the visual of what you watch what happened is extremely different.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Yeah. So we all thought what was happening was we were looking out into the woods and all of us like saw like a being out there. And we were all like, for some reason, we were all like, it's Bigfoot. And, you know,
That's
for
crazy.
all the reasons that we thought, like the calls back and things like that, we were doing the Bigfoot things. We were like, this is Bigfoot. And all of a sudden it was like a bright, like it was light and windy, like so much wind. But when you watch it, it's like not bright and there's no wind. So I don't know where that like came from, but
Yeah, weird.
yeah, very weird. So then I was like, I just got really brave and I just started walking into the woods because I'm like, I'm asking some questions. We got this DR60 here. We're gonna hear the answers I'm asking, because I was of the mind at the time, just like Gordon White, that Bigfoot is relative to like aliens. And so I wanted to ask questions like if it had visited different like stars. So I asked if it had been to Andromeda, the Pleiades, and different like, you know, star clusters and planets and things like that. And it just answered yes. Yes, yes, yes to all of it. And I was like, Bigfoot is outer space.
Wow. That's wild.
It is wild. Fast forward 2 years after that, I am not in Pennsylvania. I am now in Georgia visiting a friend, and we're about to smoke a bong in the yard because she's got kids. So we're outside. So,
Smart, responsible. I like
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so her husband, he's got the tailgate down on his truck and he's getting this bong already, right? Like super Georgia. And I hear coyotes again, but it's the weird coyotes that I heard in Pennsylvania years prior.
It followed.
And I'm
yeah.
like, talking to my friend, like, Kenna, oh my God, do you hear that? That is not a real coyote. And she's like, you're right. That like doesn't really sound like a real coyote. And so then I do the call. I'm like, Tia, Momo, yeah, hey, that's not it, but it's close. Again, close. So I do the call,
Don't
right?
have to get it right.
No. And then all of a sudden we start hearing like branches breaking, like something's walking through the woods. And she has a lot of deer in the area. So I'm not getting my hopes up too much yet, you know? But I can see something in the trees and it's foggy. So I'm not too sure.
What time of year is this about?
Summer.
Yeah.
In Georgia. It was like, I want to say it was like, actually, no, it wasn't summer. It was October. We saw Halloween stuff. It was October.
Okay.
But it was warm because Georgia. I'm from Maine. So I'm like, October, cold. Ugh.
There might be snow on the ground.
Like literally. Yeah. So anyway, like we haven't even hit this bong yet because I'm so distracted. And so her husband's trying to get us to go back there. And I'm like, no, there's something in the woods. And I'm like, I have them come up and then she sees it. And then all of a sudden it runs across her driveway where there are no trees. So we just see it full on run across her driveway and head off into the woods over there. And it's bipedal, like Bigfoot style running across this driveway. Okay. And so I'm like, oh my God, we got to leave it an offering. We got to know it's got to know we're friends. And so she's a mom and she had these fruit snacks, and Annie's fruit snacks, they're like nice and sweet, which is, something that Bigfoot likes, but they're also.
Riley just
It's a great fruit snack.
smiled so wide, like ear to ear the moment you said Annie's. And of course he would. Of course, Annie's is Riley's brand of snack choice.
They're so good. But if you get them.
All hippie moms love Annie's.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're tasty. And
they're great. They're little graham cracker bunnies. Love them.
The question is, did Bigfoot enjoy the Annie's?
So, yes. So get ready for this. So I wanted something silver and shiny, so I open up these freaking fruit snacks and they're silver and shiny on the inside. And I was like, this is the perfect Bigfoot treat. And so we go and we leave 2 of them out for Bigfoot, knowing like maybe the animals are going to take them, but let's do this anyway. So we wake up in the morning and not only are the fruit snacks gone, but the wrappers are gone as well, nowhere to be found. And where we left them is now a mushroom circle.
Whoa.
Whoa.
This is wild.
A fairy circle appeared there?
Thank you. Yes.
You've achieved like the EGOT of paranormal encounters.
Seriously.
Like we've got ghosts, we've got aliens and saucers, we have Bigfoot, and we have fairies.
It's almost like they're like all related, right? It's like almost like they're not maybe even separate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I just picture like Bigfoot.
That's kind of our whole thing over here. Is the
I saw that you had
passport to
Timothy
Magonia.
Renner and Josh Cutchin on here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine
their
having Bigfoot like picking up those Annie snacks and like smiling just like Riley did as he like as like a beam of light transports him to another dimension that just
the fairy
mushrooms
circle
immediately
left.
grow. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that image a lot.
Me too.
Oh,
Cute.
True. Wait, so your friend and you both saw this cryptid creature at the same time?
Yeah.
Like
we
clear
both
as
saw
day,
him run. Yep.
Confirming to each other at the time, like, yep, that's because the other experiences are, it was just you. So there's like having that sort of objective second viewer at the time is then a whole other layer to what's going on. A whole other
layer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is one of the coolest things about investigating with a team is like, especially if you get cameras involved, like we made a show. So not only did like we investigate together, but we had to actually go back and rewatch our investigations. And kind of like I said about like Barclay and how my memory and the visual is very different. I actually kind of find that like a lot with ghost hunting. Like I will remember very specific moments that were like cool to me, but I will completely forget other really cool moments that happened. And so going back and being able to watch it on video, you're like, oh my God, yeah. I forgot that also happened. That connects. It's it's cool.
I also like the team dynamic where, forgive me, I can't remember the woman who was in touch with Timothy.
Oh yeah, Carol.
She was where you guys are like, you need to just ground yourself, okay? Chill out. Like you guys are like, gosh, get off my back a little bit. Like there's like some real human like I like that the show does. Yeah, I like that the show didn't and you guys didn't try to like edit around getting on one another's nerves during the ghost, because that's very real and very honest, It makes you feel like you guys are like, that's like what the Fantastic Four were in Marvel Comics. They were like, the Justice League all got along, but the Fantastic Four were like on each other. I love that.
Yeah. And like she was experiencing emotions that I completely was not. And so I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you are so annoying right now. I'm also spicy, and so I can't help it sometimes. I'm like,
Well, you're also, it's a heightened, we talked about this after we, did our thing at the Kellogg house in Santa Ana. Like, you are in a heightened state of consciousness when you go into these places. So like,
for sure,
it makes sense that, especially when you're being pulled in different directions and one part of the team wants to focus on this thing. And then, everyone's getting different signals.
For sure.
I'm sure that it can get sort of, like, all right, everybody, let's just let's make a plan,
Yeah.
It's easy I can see how it would get that way.
Truly. We definitely because like when you're also like, I would use tarot cards to communicate and like I get in like the zone, when I'm like in with the cards. And so I'm trying to like say what they're saying. And my team members are trying to chime in and tell me what they're feeling and they're saying. And I'm like, shut up, I'm in the zone. But you can't say that. You look like an ass. So you're just like, yes. And anyway.
Can you
Back to the
elaborate
zone.
on how you use the tarot cards to communicate with the
Sure,
other
yeah.
side?
I love to talk about this. I actually teach a class about this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because like a lot of my like clairvoyance and stuff like that comes from being like a witch. Like I have altars to different like my ancestors and different beings and things like that I communicate with. And I was using tarot cards to kind of like facilitate that. So it only felt right to use tarot cards in investigations as well. And so it's a really interesting technique when you can like pull a card and tell the spirit about itself. Like, oh yeah, I can see that like, maybe you're feeling a little uneasy. You're not like one to like talk to strangers, and I can totally get that. And then maybe pull another card and it's like, but you're a fiery spirit that has a lot to say. And, I just like you to know that I would like to hear what you have to say. Like just like little things like that. You can kind of like build trust because you don't have to ask so much. You can be like, I kind of know this already. And like,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, it's really cool. And it's also kind of triggering for like, so we have investigated like seminaries and things like that that were like very like Catholic and very like no tarot cards in this building. And it kind of pisses them off, which isn't always like the nicest way to obviously like get evidence, but like you do. They'll touch the cards. Like there's some video of like my cards being like pulled up and popped and stuff like that. So it's like cool because it's like another tool spirits can manipulate with you, but also you can like use it to talk with them and have trust built.
Whoa.
Wow. Fascinating.
Hi, everybody. We may have just gone to a break, but if we didn't, we had some weird paranormal activity happened, Ghost in the Machine, where my screen really dimmed and blipped, and I got a little worried, so we stopped the record. It took us a little while for everything to upload. We're okay, but Katie started telling us a story about how she was investigating, what was the place called?
The Greater Rumford Community Center.
And turns out they had encounters with latex-looking beings that were crawling out of the boiler room that they later went on to learn were polluted river entities. Okay? So that's where we are.
That's the off-mic banter that we have while we're waiting on our uploads.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was like that gave me some sort of like purpose. I felt like I had to go forward with that story and learn more. I live right next to the Androscoggin River, so it's like super easy to like try to communicate with it and things like that. And I haven't gotten like a ton further other than I have to like contact the Abenaki because they did river ceremonies in Auburn, Maine, apparently. But that's kind of why I'm like not really on Haunt Me anymore, because they wanted to keep going and doing that traditional ghost hunting thing where you like go to a place for one night and do that. And I got really into elementals and other and like a story, and so
I love this. I mean, this is kind of what I think is lacking in a lot of these shows, is that if you do bounce around from house to house or asylum to asylum, you're really not getting, you can't do a lot of research
at all
in one night. You want to go back to the place that you've been trying things. You want to build a relationship. So I love this idea.
Saturate yourself there.
Yeah, that you're finding more long-term projects. So has this become a current long-term project for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I am kind of, and that's actually.
And name the river again, because I think we talked about that off mic.
It's the Androscoggin River, runs through a huge chunk of Maine, and it actually runs by Fort Knox. And that was another reason that So we had already learned that information at the Greater Rumford Community Center by the time I did that episode at Fort Knox. So that was sort of the reason I decided to do those elemental altars.
Okay, the one that called the UFO.
That kind of sort of backfired, sort of not, obviously. Just
the up.
set me on a different path. I did the up for a while. I tried to recreate that a bunch of times. Ooh, I have a question for you, actually.
Great.
Because the second time I tried to redo the up like altar situation was at Octagon Hall in Kentucky. And I ended up seeing this creature that looked, and maybe this is because I play a lot of Nintendo games and maybe it's my brain.
We're with you.
Okay, but it looked like Bigfoot wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah.
Like in a white suit.
Been, the Bigfoot in jumpsuits has been a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't think
alone.
we've gotten into too many of those stories. I want to.
Yeah, they're rare. But then so is seeing two UFOs side by side. So it sounds like, you're in the rare club.
I could be mistaken, but I feel like there's a book that I want to check out. Maybe for tease for the not too distant future, we'll find out. Silent Invasion by Gordon.
Yes,
Stanley
Gordon White.
Gordon White.
Yep.
Thank you. Gordon White?
Stan
Somebody
Gordon.
Google that for me.
Stan Gordon. Sorry,
Yeah,
Stan Gordon.
Yes.
So I do believe this is all in that Chestnut Ridge area. This is when we did a story about this at the Greensboro Bigfoot UFO encounter. I think it was Greensboro, where there was like a rural neighbors saw like this weird lighted dome appear in their pasture, and then there were two red-eyed Bigfoots that emerged from it walking up their fence posts, and then they had researchers come out. One of the locals like saw a vision of a Men in Black and apocalyptic visions. But that summer, that time of year, whenever this was all happening that year, there was a lot of UFO Bigfoot encounters happening that are in that book.
Neat.
And I do think I could be wrong, but I do think we get some like Bigfoot in like jumpsuit stories in that as well. So it does, like Spacer Bigfoot does come up.
Yeah. I have nothing other to add. Like I saw him after I did the ritual, and then I saw him run towards this barn, and I was investigating with my friends Lisa and Rachel, and I was like, oh my God, guys, get over here, look. And they didn't see him, but they saw the barn door open and shut.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
And no one went in the barn?
No one went in the we weren't like allowed to go in the barn.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess it might have been private property. Bryce, when you hear stories like this, when you hear stories that Katie's telling us where like, silver suited Bigfoots running into barns.
Yeah.
Do you ever go, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I hear stories like from Katie, and I go, okay, I got to incorporate elements of that.
Cool.
Because I think so, so much of like, on the show Expedition Bigfoot, we're often like, we're looking for Bigfoot, but what I try to do on the sidelines is actively like. Yeah, well, off camera is entice Bigfoot into our playing field, to lure. I'm luring Bigfoot into our show, and he's luring us out into the field. It's
I feel like if Expedition Bigfoot would be fun if you guys had a season where like I know the pitch of the show is like we're using high grade technology in like these highly like in areas where like an algorithm has shown that like this is the best time of year to see, your chances are the best here at this time of year to see something. I think it would be fun as an experiment. I know this will never happen where like one season is just occult technology. One season is just candles and Panasonic tape recorders. And you know what I mean? Like, let's try this for a season and see what happens.
That would be so good.
I'm sort of secretly doing that as I'm doing the show.
Yeah, but I want it on camera.
Because
me too.
As we've discussed, and I think Katie's onto something, there does seem to be sort of an invocation speculation element to this Bigfoot thing. I mean, I was so shocked watching that incredible segment with Greg and Dana, and to know that even they had a previous Bigfoot encounter there. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah. But there is this element of sort of like bringing it forward, or communing with it, invoking it, setting up an altar for it. And look, spacefaring Bigfoot, been to the Pleiades and all these. Yes, I'm all into that stuff. I love it.
Me too.
I'm totally into that. I think it's just a technology that we haven't really understood yet. But Katie seems to have her hands.
You got to
on
get
it.
those
like
Annie's
a-
gummies.
Yeah.
Key.
I was going to say, you need to bring Bigfoot candy, man.
Yeah.
Get some gummies.
Yeah.
Some
Honestly,
Annie's.
Oh, I will. That I'm doing.
Bringing an offering to investigations changed everything for me. Ghosts love a gift. Everybody loves a
Yeah,
gift.
that's so
Yep.
great. Yep.
Apples have been really good for me because like they're easy to also like bury after, because you got to leave your offering there, and if an animal gets it, an apple's not,
Yeah.
But an apple is
You know what I
also
wonder?
like connected to the dead.
candied apple.
There you go.
Candied
Yeah.
apples were the toast of my main street when I was a little girl.
This is when she tunes you out with two different
Yeah.
songs playing at the same time. She's like, nope, not
I
doing
love
that.
it. Neurodivergent is my new favorite term, by the way. I love that.
The wires are crossed.
All right.
That's amazing.
Let's play a game that we play with all of our guests. Let's close it out strong with Katie Webb. I'm going to go down a list of phenomenon. Rapid fire style. You have to decide here and now if you're open to it. You're going to say believe it. If you're not open to it, you're going to say bullshit.
Okay.
Katie Webb, this is a game we call bullshit.
Or believe it.
Katie, on your mark, get set. Ghosts,
Believe it.
Bigfoot,
Believe it.
UFOs,
Believe.
crystals,
Oh, believe.
it. You got to say believe. It's
He
not
loves
called
the rules.
bullshit
Or
or believe.
believe.
It's called bullshit or believe it.
Oh.
Katie.
Yeah.
He's historically a big stickler about this part of
Okay.
the game.
I set the rules. You
Okay.
follow the rules.
I'm not good at following the rules, but I'll try.
Ouija board.
Oh, I believe it.
Tarot cards.
Believe it.
Alien abductions.
Believe it.
Shapeshifters.
Ooh, believe it.
Shadow people.
Believe it.
Gnomes.
Oh, definitely believe it. I know
Astral
John Tennant.
projection. Yeah. You know what? I think he might actually be a gnome.
Yeah, he is a gnome.
Astral
of the
projection.
gnomes. Oh, believe, big time.
Psychic dreams.
Believe it.
Sheep squatch.
Sure, I believe it.
Bat squatch.
Okay, yeah, I believe it.
Lizard man of Skateboard
In
Swamp.
for a sheep and for a bat.
I love it.
Lizard man. Okay, yeah,
Of Skateboard Swamp.
I like that. I believe it.
Speaking to the dead.
Definitely, I believe it.
Demons.
Complicated, but I believe it.
Wendigos. We'll come back.
Yeah, I believe it.
Werewolves.
Oh, I want to believe it.
Parallel universes.
Oh, believe it.
Past lives.
Believe it.
Doppelgangers.
I guess I believe it.
Destiny.
That one's complicated too. I kind of think that's bullshit.
Life after death.
Bullshit.
Whoa! Twist ending.
You M. Night Shyamalan to that bullshit or believe it right there.
Wait a minute. What is this
Whoa.
puzzle box you've put us in?
I know. Because I said
So
I believe it's a ghost, right?
Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta unpack
Yeah.
this immediately.
Well, I think it gets complicated when everybody thinks they're gonna have a life after dead. I definitely don't think everybody does.
Okay.
I also feel like a lot of
I
ghosts.
love that.
Are,
I don't think we've had that
yeah, because like I don't think.
combo before, but that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I feel like a a lot of ghosts are just like blips of energy. They don't, they only go so far with how much they can talk. It's like a,
Not necessarily a soul.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
present
A
soul,
whole being,
sentient soul.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and I'm sure there are like those things out there too, but then a lot of them are like psychokinetic manifestations as well. Like there's a lot in the mix here. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're definitely not all just sticking around. That's kind of why I said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you think that
Yeah,
there's
that's an interesting perspective.
do you think consciousness exists after death?
Yes.
I'm curious. It's a different question.
Yes. I think it can, and I think sometimes it goes away. I don't really know.
You know what? Guess what, Katie?
Nobody
None of us
does.
do. We literally don't know these things.
we
That's
don't.
why we talk about them. I love it. What was the other thing that was? By the way, I mean, you basically got the you. I think you got just about the Bryce Johnson grade on this.
Yeah, almost.
on
Yeah,
this
everything.
test.
Demons, Michael, you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to circle back on. Yes.
Well, I
What
think
about
they're
them?
like weaponized as fuck in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
come on, you know.
Totally.
Yes.
The whole ghost adventure shtick is
Propaganda.
So,
It's very
yeah,
propaganda-y.
very propaganda-y.
Ish.
And like, so some people's demons are very much like their religion, and it's like, well, that's like for you. That's like not for me because that's not my religion, you know.
It sounds like a you demon.
That sounds
not
like
so
a
much
you demon.
me
Yeah,
demon.
I don't subscribe to
That's
that
a
demon.
UD, not a mighty.
I mean, I kind of feel it that way. Like demons, I think are very like personal. You know?
Yeah.
And I think like we can be fighting literal, not well. I know.
Yeah.
There was. I remember like when I was in college and I was trying to quit smoking, and I remember thinking like, you know, it's like my smoking addiction is like another little. I remember it looking like a little, you know, cartoony like black devil that kind of like lived inside of me, and I was like, I should just.
Smoking.
I was like, I should
Yeah.
just name this thing and like talk
so cool when you do it.
and think about it as like a thing that is in me trying to get me to do a thing that I don't want to do.
Nice.
You know, I mean, it didn't really work, but it did feel correct.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
You know, I want to just be like no to demons, but I've read Michelle Ballanger's books and stuff like that, and I feel like
have
there
not.
is something. So she's really educated about all of
we'll
that.
look into it.
Yeah.
I love it. Katie, this has been a delight.
Yeah.
We will have to have you back on an L-Files episode in the
Yes.
near future so you can read some listener stories with us and give us
Fun.
your hot takes on those. For those of you listening, if you have an encounter like Katie, multiple encounters. In fact, Katie, we're going to hand out the very first Paranormal EGOT Award on this episode. Now, I think we only have 3. It's a B for Bigfoot, a G for ghosts, and a U for UFOs. You rearrange those, you get the Bug Award. Okay, I think
bug.
you've got a bug. You've got the Bug Award.
I've got the
okay?
bug.
There
The
you go.
BCC Bug
The
Award
paranormal
goes
bug.
to.
You
I
like
mean,
me.
Bryce.
You really like
Bryce,
me.
I think you have. You got a G and you got a U maybe. I think I got a G and a U maybe, but I don't have
Nice.
that
You're
B.
missing a letter.
I
Okay,
feel
well,
like the
at least
fairy
now I
circle
know what to look for.
qualifies the full EGOT though.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
'Cause
Oh,
now
so
we-
there's got to be a Fae.
Yeah, there's
so
a fae
is it,
too.
Is it a B G U F like for the Fae?
It's a fugba.
Fabug.
Bug
A
bug.
F-bug.
Nice.
EGOT, an F-bug. We'll just
F-bug.
call
It's
it
an
an
F bug.
F-bug.
Right,
You got
yeah.
an F. You
You
achieved
got-
an F bug.
The BCC F-bug award.
You're in the paranormal 1%.
Yeah, or E-bug for elemental. We can
There-
work on
that's
this.
better. I like
E-bug?
that. E-bug.
The
Yeah.
EGOT and the E-bug. All
It's
right.
in the lexicon now, everyone.
Fae is elemental,
Right.
so it's an E. So you've got an E-bug award. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, I'd like to
where
thank
can-
God.
Well done.
Just kidding.
And the demons.
And the
all of my
demons.
not demon. Where can people find your work? Is there anything you're working on right now that you want, or any shows coming up, or paracons or anything you're going to be at?
Yeah.
Can people do readings with you if they want to do readings? How
Yeah.
can people find you?
You can join my Patreon. It's really cheap. You can get readings
Great.
from me there. I'm going to be at Midwest Boo Fest in August. That's in Indiana.
Awesome.
Yep. And You can just Instagram, Twitter, or whatever it's called. It's Twitter.
Yeah, let's just call it Twitter. Boy, I posted a link to our latest episode up there the other day, and I scrolled through, and oh boy, it was bleak.
It's bleak on there. It's bleak on there. It's tough.
I was like, oh no, I can't be here anymore. I don't like it. Ugh, I'm just gonna put this here and go.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us. Go find a nice place on the shelf, clear it off. You'll be getting your eBug award in the mail very soon.
Great. Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Well, along with her eBug, she'll be getting a laminated Club Scout card in the mail as well.
Of course.
Super rad. Thanks so much, Katie. All right. Before we go over to Collector's Corner, we're going to open up some mail over there. We got some fun packages from listeners we're going to check out. Why don't we swing by and thank some friends, some Club Scouts who have recently joined us over on BCC The Other Side. And I want to say, guys, gals, non-binary friends, thank you so much for all of you who have tried out the $9 a month tier for the ad-free episodes. People are the feedback's been really great. People are really loving that. So we really, really thank all of you Cosmeteers and anybody else. If you can only do $5 a month, get your 3 bonus episodes. That's great too.
Hell yeah.
But we're very, very excited to see everybody over there. So let's thank Mike Mogg, Cosmeteer.
Thanks, Mike. Welcome.
SB, Cosmeteer.
Thanks, SB. Welcome.
Michael Amon.
Thanks, Michael.
Haley Loveridge.
Thanks, Haley.
Abby Dealers.
Thanks, Abby.
Kamika's Rainbow.
Kamika's Rainbow, thank you.
Spencer Bear.
Thanks, Spencer.
Marissa Rocket, Cosmeteer.
Thank you, Marissa. Welcome.
Christopher Galliano.
Thanks, Chris.
Stacy Collins.
Thank you, Stacy.
Sandman 7.
Thank you, Sandman.
I hope that's not a typo. It could be an autocorrect. Also, who knows with some of the weird names that people have come up with.
Cool name.
Sandman, I'll go back and check. And if I got that wrong, I'll swing by again next week and thank you. Freighter Cynicus. I mean, I know I got that one right.
Thanks, Freighter.
Mr. Yeetus, Cosmeteer.
Welcome, Mr. Yeetus.
Raven Rush, Cosmeteer. See, it's hard to tell.
I know who that is. Hey, Raven Rush. Welcome. Right on.
Wes Cobb.
Thanks, Wes.
Hannah Bunana.
Thank you, Hannah Banana.
Wolf Boy Woofa.
Ow! Thanks, Wolf Boy.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Teddy.
Thank you, Teddy.
Allison, Cosmeteer.
Thank you, Allison. Welcome.
And this is an autocorrect, so I'm going to say it correctly. And our favorite name of the week, the Metal Wolf, Cosmeteer.
Welcome, Metal Wolf.
Welcome to
all
being
ranks.
our Wolf brother. All right, head over to patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub to unlock total access, 3 bonus eps every month, the BCC Discord, and more. Upgrade to the Cosmeteer membership. Unlock 3 music tracks from super producer Riley, and of course, ad-free episodes. All right, let's go by the Collector's Corner, where we talk about what we're collecting, reading, watching, consuming. And I thought I'd take my turn to open up some mail. This is from our friend, listener Frida Bent, also a Patreon.
What's
who
up,
sent
Frida?
us something from Ireland. A lovely letter that I won't read here that says this is a token of appreciation from Frida. We got an Irish whistle. Look at that.
Oh, my
That's got to be for
gosh, look at
Riley.
that.
Yeah, I will be having that.
Oh, that's
Right, I'll
great.
be bringing that by the clubhouse. Let's see what else we got. This,
Awesome.
by the way, the bag it came in is a big green bag. Seems appropriate. We have another little package here that says this is for Bryce. So Bryce, we're going to open this up. It's in a little box. Okay, pop that open. Let's see what Frida has sent you. It's a cool medallion, it looks like, of some kind.
I love a good medallion.
I feel bad that I'm opening this.
I know. I'm
like
like,
that.
wait a minute,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Like, this is for Bryce. I'm going to go ahead and open it.
Well,
You
you
have to
know,
watch through
we're
the
doing it on the
computer.
air. Oh,
Yeah,
there's this
that's
cool, there's a stone. Oh, it's like a soapy stone thingy. It
cool.
smells very
Thank
good. It
you
must
so
be a
much,
magic
Frida.
stone.
Maybe that's for Alan
Ooh,
Watts' bath
that's
time.
going
There
to
you
my
go.
magic bath.
Let's
maybe.
see. That
yes.
must be for the Alan Watts bath. And then there must be something in here for me. Cadbury Dairy Milk. Oh my goodness, Frida. Thank you so much.
You know
That
it so
is
well.
my favorite chocolate of all time. I'm looking for the note to see what that thing is for Bryce, but I'll find it later. We also got something cool from Anderson in Lompoc, Canada.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and I'm gonna This is a long oblong box here. And guys, vamp for me while I try to open
I'm
this
enjoying
up.
watching you.
Yeah, no, you're doing
I was
great.
like, I'm like trying. I was
Yeah.
like picturing Michael's thoughts.
I-
Like,
first
really
of all,
should
why
have
does he-
pre-opened this box.
Yeah, we've been getting together at the clubhouse, but he picks this day where we're virtual to like open up all the mail. I get it.
Well, because people are waiting.
Yeah. No, sure.
I love getting mail. It's
do
so
too.
cool. It's so cool.
While I unwrap this, Riley, what's in your collector's corner this week?
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm doing.
collecting, Riley?
I don't know about if this counts as collecting. It's a vague term, collector's corner, but I'm doing a performance in New York City on
shit.
the 16th
No way.
Of May?
of May. So
Great.
this is
So it's
out
like
in
a
time.
week out.
It's like a week from now. So if you're in New York, I'm doing that. I think I've been talking to you guys about a little bit, if you've been listening to the show, that I've been doing more of this sort of abstract noise music. But I'm doing a performance with Nadia Tolokonnikova, who is the creator of Pussy Riot, who you've probably heard of. I've collaborated with her in the past on other projects, so I've definitely mentioned her on the show. But I'm super excited about this show that we're going to be doing that's being put on by the Folk Art Museum
Killer.
in Manhattan, and we're going to do a really cool and interesting performance of very abstract music, and I'm super excited about it. We had a rehearsal today, and it went awesome. So yeah, if you're in New York, you can get a ticket. Come. And also Nadia's doing a talk, and she's showing some of her new works that are just phenomenal. She's
Killer.
she's reaching a whole new level in her art practice. So, check her out. Check out what she's doing. And if you're in New York, come to the show.
Yeah, love that.
A few more things from Free to Hear. Bryce, this is Connemara marble from the west coast of Ireland. Connemara marble.
Okay.
To impart some of the energy of the land for you. So it's
Killer.
a piece of marble.
It's going right in my magic box.
Also, I don't
is
know
cool.
how I didn't see this. She also sent us an Irish folklore treasury, a big book
Oh, cool.
there
of
you go.
Irish folklore for the BCC library to do some research. So
Yeah.
thank
Time
you.
to start getting some
again.
international
Yeah,
stories of high strangeness.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we have from Anderson
He got the box open, everybody.
a red painting.
Whoa. Is that
Oh.
an original work?
Yes.
What?
That is sick.
This is a painting that he did for
Whoa.
us.
Wait, hold it back a little so we can see the whole thing.
Oh, dude, that is killer.
Okay, so it's like a UFO, and there's like this desert scene with these like
Yeah.
space cactus.
It's a cow that's, I think, a
Oh,
creamer.
that's like pinstriping style. And yeah,
It's a creamer
It's
cow
abducting
pouring-
a cow.
The cream into a coffee cup as he's being abducted. This little creamer cow. Oh, it's amazing.
That's a rad
This is
thing.
rad, Anderson. Thank you so
Dude.
much.
Yeah.
This is going to
Really cool.
go up in the clubhouse.
Ooh, I love
for
the
sure.
pinstriping up in the corner.
I
too.
know.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Little.
Is this,
Really
is this
rad
an original by Anderson who sent this
I
to
believe
us?
so. Let me open
That's
the
killer.
letter here. Who
Dude,
says,
cool.
"Hey BCC boys, I
Trippy.
painted this a few years ago for a friend, and it recently made its way back to me. Actually, on the very same day your ep,
I
Bryce's
love it.
Super Duper Spectrum Theory came out. Strangely, you guys talk about UFOs and coffee. Thanks for the years of some awesome content, Sean. So first name Sean.
Sean.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank
Must be
you.
Sean
I was like,
Anderson.
dude,
Sean.
two things I love: UFOs and coffee. Right?
I know
there in the
right.
same painting.
that painting made its way to you, Bryce. Truly.
Bryce, anything
That's
in your
killer.
collector's corner? Anything
So
you're reading,
cool. Love
watching,
that.
consuming, collecting?
Yeah, I'm
Performing,
consuming a
anything
lot
in
of
your
reggae and a lot of weed with that reggae. I've just been like,
Right on, man.
Yeah,
Right
man.
on.
I don't know. I've just been. It's been a stressful time, and I've just been trying to like mitigate it with the sweet sounds of Bob
Bri-
Marley and the Wailers and reggae and the good weed that
Bryce
accompanies
is
it.
Bryce is like
I love that. man.
extending his 420 era. Like he's
I am.
this is sort of is this sort of a return to Club Bryce, would you say? Is
Yeah,
this like
I go in
a
phases.
little energy?
Yeah, there's some Club Bryce energy in there. That's for
I
sure.
love it. Guys, we should
yeah.
write a new Club Bryce track for this summer to, capitalize on this special era in your life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I will work on one for sure because I'm inspired, musically inspired. So.
You gotta record it in a bathtub.
Yeah. Oh, we can do that. And Riley lent me an amazing guitar, and I switched it over to lefty because I feel like I play a lot of air guitar lefty, and I've been practicing right, and I was like, I might just be left-handed, so I'm starting from scratch, and I'm already making good progress. So BJ and the Shadow Bats working on a 2025 album.
That is so exciting.
Love
Is
it.
it feeling more natural, Bryce?
Yeah,
in your hands?
already. I really like it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear that. That's
Me
awesome.
too. I'm loving it. So, Michael, what about you, man? What are you consuming? Except our mail.
I mean, that was supposed to be my turn, but I'll be consuming some Cadbury Dairy Milk very soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks again.
You know what?
Frida.
I'm still on. You're in your Bob Marley era. I'm in my Bravo era. I'm done with Summer House, and I've moved on to Below Deck. And let me tell you, I thought I was scraping the bottom of the barrel. Joke's on me. That show rules. There's so much stuff about actually driving boats that I find fascinating.
No way. I love it.
Oh, dude.
I
It's
do
like an
love a good
upstairs.
below deck.
It's upstairs, downstairs, but on a yacht. So it's like the hot crew,
Right.
like having to like deal with usually very rude, very rich Midwesterners
If I understand, it's like
coming
the
on the
perfect and the worst summer job all in one, right?
Yeah.
It's like
100%. They have to like iron napkins on this boat in like
Right.
small rooms. There's a French chef. I'm watching the latest season, so I know there's a lot I got to get to, but there's a French chef who's like in this galley all by himself all day, like making all these special requirements for all these rich people.
Nightmare.
It's fascinating. And the captain is a stone cold stud. He is so cool. He's like a total geek, but he's also like really cool. You know what I mean? He's just like an Australian guy who's been a captain his whole, like been boating his whole life.
Love that.
And the
Just-
best part of the entire show, and they do this every couple episodes when they come back from their like, there's a term for it. I'm still new to the show. I apologize. But when they're like
Holiday.
docking,
Oh, yeah.
when they're docking after the latest assignment or whatever they call it, when they take people out on this season's all in Granada. They have to park the yacht at the dock, and the captain can't see. It's not like a car where you can like look in the rearview mirror. So you have to have like the bosun and the deckhands calling out like how to turn it, and there's other giant ships, and like one wrong move, and if the current's wrong and the wind is bad, you can just crash the fucking yacht. So it's so fun to watch them park the yachts. Like it's
Parking boats is a real skill.
yeah,
it really
it is. Yeah, it reminded me of
And
being down
parking
at
big
Shaver
boats.
Lake on the jet ski special, but on a much larger scale.
Yeah, with way higher stakes.
It's so fun. I think I might really like boat stuff. So I might get into like
You found your old man thing.
Yeah.
It's boats.
I'm like
Yeah,
when
I
they're
like parking boats.
when they're tossing the
Parking them and then
ropes.
talking about them.
Yeah.
When they're tossing the like ropes
You like
down
that.
to the guys on the docks, and they're like,
Yeah.
it like awakens something in me, and
I
they're like,
love
I
that.
see it on your face.
they're
You're
like
love
bring
that,
up
talking
the
about
anchor,
boats.
and they're
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
have to. There's like one person has to get down this like little hole and poke the
Yeah.
chain of the anchor around with a stick so it doesn't get all tangled. I'm like,
As you do.
You have nautical inspirations.
oh yeah. I was like, this is awesome because it still has like hot hookups that you'll get in Summer House, but then there's just like important boat stuff, like people's lives. Like,
You would be the
like
best
people's-
cast member. Like I could totally see you working that job. Like just running
Bryce,
shit.
do not think that I have not thought of. I'm like, man, because the other fun part of the show. Sorry, everybody, if you're still listening. The other
post episode.
the other fun part is at the end of each like trip they take, the people leave. They give them a huge envelope full of money. And then they all get together and they count the tip. And it's so fun to see how much the tip is going to be after like 3 episodes of being treated like shit.
Yes,
And, like,
I remember this. Yes.
So sometimes they get like $3,000 a piece and they all like cheer, like it's really fun. And the other fun part is like they're very professional and they're very nice to the guests, but to the camera they'll be like, "She's such a bitch," or like, "He's such an asshole." It's great. I love it. It's such a good show. So that's where I'm going to be for. I think they have 4 or 5 different versions of that show that are at least 6 to 11 seasons deep. So.
Well, there you go.
I think my summer's spoken for. Yeah.
Michael's summer of boats.
This is how I'm grieving, everybody. This is how, when we look back.
Dig in.
How did you handle your mom's death? Well, I just watched everything on Peacock that was Bravo.
And got super into boats.
Yeah, got really into boats. I don't think I'm going to do all the housewives, though. I'm a Salt Lake boy, and I'm kind of cool with just being Salt Lake.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
All right, everybody. We will see you over on the other side. If we don't see you there, check us out next week, Wednesday. Brand new episode of BCC. Until then, good night.
And go get regressed.
Who is that?
That's the Candy Apple Ghost.
It's the Candy Apple Ghost.
Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray and Michael McMillan and scored and engineered by Riley Bray. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. Do us a favor and support the show and unlock 3 bonus episodes every month by becoming a member of our Patreon, BCC The Other Side, which can be found at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.